GameyDaddy.
Hello everyone, this is Emmond with GameyDaddy and I'm here with another video from Tom Clancy's The Division. So, we were right on the money on our second prediction with the implementation of classes. Actually, that was my first prediction when I was doing my three-phase prediction of the Division game. And this is not a gloat video. I mean, I was excited when they said it. I was almost, oh man, it was such a good feeling to be right on the money with something like that. And once they put it out there, it made a lot of sense. I think it all came together because there's been a pattern that I've seen in this game, and the reason I predicted it is because since the game has been conceived, or since the game Division 1 was conceived, a lot of issues were prevalent based on the gear sets and the way they worked. The ability to mix and match every single thing, I think, just added more work for the developers in constant and consistent balancing of very minuscule details of almost all the gear sets. So right now, making a class system makes it very, very, very reasonable for the developers to balance if there's any future game-breaking issues that we find, or it even makes sense that you will spec into a specific area so that if you are super strong in that area, it only makes sense that you've put in the time and the man hours to be able to get strong in that area. So right now we have the demolition, we have the sniper, and we have another specialization that I can't remember at this moment. And so it's just a big celebration, and I'm just so thankful for you guys who, listened to my arguments, and and even for those of you who disagreed. For those of you who agreed, I say thank you. For those of you who disagreed, also thank you, because it's nice to have this discussion going. But one of the things I want to say is, when we make these predictions or when we put out this content, a lot of thought goes into it. And I remember with the implementation of classes video, a lot of people thought this was going to strip the identity of the solo player, but this is not the case, because today the lead designer, the lead developer said that that's not going to be the case. You're still going to be able to run missions solo. The only difference now is, based on the specialization that you pick, that's going to influence the way you play the game. Nothing wrong with that, guys. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think that it actually encourages gameplay diversity. We're not going to be saying build diversity, I don't think. And next off, is the future addition of other classes. Right now, they've only showed 3 classes, or 3 specializations. I should be careful when I say classes, but they've only shown 3 specializations, and I can foresee other specializations like a healer specialization. If you notice, throughout the gameplay, there was no immune station at all. Nobody had a support station with them. Now, is that going to be a skill that we're going to have? Perhaps. And also, they've revealed 4 of the skills. They revealed the turret, which is pretty much a drone turret. They revealed the seeker mine. They revealed the hive, which is a defensive weapon, and then a cam launcher. So these 4 skills are pretty much one of the, just 4 of the skills that they're showing now. Are they going to have more skills? I think so. I think as you continue to go into your specialization, then you're probably going to have access to more of these skills as you're progressing in the game. Maybe that's a prediction. I haven't played the game, so take it with a grain of salt, but it makes sense that they'll continue on this pattern as they're going through the development of the game. Now, another thing is the 8-man raids. Man, this is just a PvE player's dream. I mean, what's not going to be fun about going into a raid with a bunch of people and figuring out a mission for the first time? Now, yes, a lot of people may not have the patience, but it's just like the incursions were. The only thing is, the incursions, there was just a much more limited amount of people to actually play with, so it was much more frustrating. But now you have 8 people. They're going to be going into these raids. They're going to be hardcore raids, and I always wanted to play raids. The only reason Destiny didn't catch my attention is because it's a first-person shooter. I like third-person shooters, and so the Division is just right there in the niche for me. Again, we're looking forward to the Dark Zone, and so this is an aspect of the game that, even as much as I say I don't PvP, or I just don't like the current Dark Zone PvP and the way it's set up, and so we're looking forward to see what happens to the Dark Zone PvP. Perhaps they're going to separate PvE and PvP. These guys are taking the safe route in this release, because the workload that they had dealing with all the issues present in Division 1 and also working on this second game. I mean, yes, they divided their resources. They put their resources where it needs to be. But boy, I'm sure that they are happy to, be launching this new game that's going to progress the old game to just kind of tie in. So I can't wait for Shields as well. Hopefully, I have the time to farm and do whatever needs to be done to get my achievements ready for the next division game. Again, the final thought that I have here is overall, all of this I think is going to bring a better balance to the game. I think we're all so tied up with what we already know, and change can be a little difficult. So with all the hype that's going on, let's also, you know, come down from that mountain and think and say, hey, you're used to playing the Division 1 that doesn't have a lot of these changes, that has so many fun stuff like, you know, your first aid, or, you know, or your support station that you can just drop and blow up and get health. Are these things gonna be there? It's going to make you change your play style slightly, and there's gonna be a little bit of frustration to it. In fact, there's probably gonna be an adverse reaction to that kind of, to the new play style that we're gonna get, but that's not essentially a bad thing. It's nice to actually, even though there'll be some frustration and the gameplay is almost similar, in fact it's the same game to me, in my opinion, I think we're still going to enjoy the title. I mean, from the gameplay that I saw today, you know, they were using cover, which means they're still, like, even at level 30 or whatever level that they were still fighting their way into the end game content. And you don't just run and gun, because with NPCs, they're now much more intelligent. The way the NPCs were organized, the way, you know, the NPCs actually have different weapons and different abilities, that's actually pretty cool. And so I can't say anything else than right now, the Division 2 is in much of a better place than I thought. When I made my Division 2 will shine video, I did not think that they were going to surpass our expectations. I thought they were just going to be in a, you know, they were going to do something decent. But right now, I think the Division 2 is in such a good place. And I'm going to encourage those of you who haven't played this game, the Division game itself, go ahead and pick up the game. Play the game and get yourself warmed up for the next release. So that's just my spew. Thank you guys for your audience, and thank you for listening. If you want to support this channel, go ahead and check the links below. There's Patreon, there's some merch that you can buy, but most importantly, I appreciate your audience. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It's really a nice gesture and it helps me continue to grind and go on. Thanks once again, and I guess I'll see you in my next video. Peace.
That, but also a lot of new things. So
GameyDaddy.